Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. This is the Tennessean's high school football show where we talk what's coming up the next week, what happened last week. Big show tonight or today. Joe Spears joins the show momentarily. The big game of the week is going to be Ravenwood at Summit, but we're going to talk first about maybe the game of the year, Lipscomb at Oakland. Joined now by Joe Spears to get this show started. Joe Spears, how you doing?
Doing well, you?
As well as can be expected after losing my one-game lead to you.
Yeah, I just got to stop betting against Oakland, man.
I don't know what has gotten into me. Kevin Kreager, I think, wants me to keep picking against them, but I don't know if I can continue to do that. So let's talk about what was the game of the week last week, maybe the game of the year. Oakland wins 29-21. Saw an Oakland team have to come from behind. At one point, they trailed 21-7 late in the third quarter, and it was Jordan James.
Yeah, Jordan James is he's as good as advertised, as we all know. I think it was a good game. I think that sort of game is good for both teams. Lipscomb Academy really hadn't been tested much, neither at Oakland. You don't see Oakland having to claw and scratch their way back into a game like they did last week. They scored 22 straight to win that game. And the way they responded, I mean, they go down 21-7, and then Jordan James immediately a play later breaks off that 75-yard touchdown run to get them right back into it going into the fourth quarter. It's just a great game, a great atmosphere. That's what high school football games like that are what high school football is all about. And on both sides, you had fans. It was just packed. Regular season games, I haven't seen anything like that around here.
Yeah, 4,600 or so fans or so is what I was told with the band. They sold a lot of hot dogs. I know that.
Yeah.
And, great game there. I think we learned a lot about Trent Dilfer's and Trent Dilfer's Lipscomb team. I thought they showed a lot of poise. I'll be honest with you. If Junior Sherrill doesn't get that ankle sprain late in that second half, I don't know if they don't win that game, because I think he had speed that Oakland really didn't match up well against.
Agreed.
I thought that was going to be a matchup that Steven Jackson, the defensive coordinator at Oakland, was going to have to figure out how to slow him down, because I think he's a dynamic player there that was going to give them fits. I thought they used Alex Broom really well. Didn't know about the play call, but that's why I don't get paid the big bucks for that last play call. I think I was thinking maybe a bootleg and throwing out to maybe the Rouse kid, or throw back to Broom there. It was kind of in my head what I thought they might do, but maybe that's why they went with the run play there to kind of catch him guessing there. Eric Taylor ran across the field to make a huge play there at the 2-yard line to end the game there. Great game. Great atmosphere. I don't think you will find a better crowd in the regular season for that game. And, this is something we missed last year with third capacities.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot. It lived up to the hype, which is what everybody wanted. So,
and I've never seen so much media at one game.
Especially for a high school game. That was a lot. I mean, that rivals some college games I've been to. So that was it. Everybody was there.
Yeah, I don't know if everyone was working, but they were all there. So let's roll into week 7, game of the week. Another great matchup. This is if last week was the game of the year, this might be 1B. Ravenwood 5-1, 2-0 in Region 7 6A. They go to Summit. Summit 6-0, 2-0, and they have adjusted well from going from 5A to 6A. And this is Summit's number 4 in the Super 25 poll, and Ravenwood's number 8. So again, it's a second straight week of a top 10 matchup between top teams in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, Summit, like you said, they've adjusted well to 6A. And I mean, we kind of thought they would with what they were bringing back. Dustin Wade, obviously, we all know what he can do. Keaton Wade, he's back healthy. He's doing it on both sides of the ball. Then maybe their most underrated player on both sides as well is Brady Pierce, kind of their wide receiver, safety combo guy that kind of does it all for him. Coach Coleman calls him, he's just a football player. And he's a heck of a player. But yeah, I mean, Ravenwood also, they've won 5 straight since that NBA loss. Chris Parson maybe had his best game of the season last week when they beat Hendersonville. So you get a Florida State commitment in Parson against a Kentucky commitment in Destin Wade and his brother Keaton also. I just think that it's going to be hard for that Ravenwood defense to contain Destin. Nobody's been able to do it. I'm honestly not sure there's a defense in 6A that can, maybe outside of Oakland right now, and Maryville. Maryville's playing really well out east. So I think this is a close one. I think Destin Wade does just enough in the end, and Summit wins this one 28-24.
There are 4 kids that were in our Dandy Dozen in this game. The Wade twins, Destin, and Keaton. There's 3. And then you've got Miles Pollard. You think of next year, you got to think that Chris Parson is a front runner to be on it this year. So maybe that's where I was thinking. So you got 3 and a potential 1 for next year. There's more talent on this field Friday night than what we'll see pretty much minus maybe last week that we'll probably see all year. There's other kids on there. And of course, Pollard's going to Michigan. It pains me to say that as an IU grad, I know. But, it's a great matchup, great talent. Summit's offensive line is their key that no one ever talks about, but they have the bulk of that line back. We get caught in the flash of the Wades and what Brady Pierce has done. This will be one in the trenches. They'll figure out how to slow each other down. Summit, though, is going to win. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be 42-35. I think it's going to be a great high school football. And if you thought last week's atmosphere was great, I think this year will be just as good. But I think Summit finds a way to stay undefeated.
Yeah.
Next game up on our list, Pope John Paul II. They're 5-1, 1-1 in D2 East Middle. That's D2 AAA East Middle. They go to NBA at 3-3, 1-1. Another big matchup. You've got JP2 tied for 14th in the Super 25 poll, playing at NBA, which is 22 in the top 25. So let's start it there. 2 great junior quarterbacks on the field together.
Yeah, we go from one great quarterback matchup with Destin and Chris Parson to Kenny Minchie, who's statistically, I'm not sure there's a better quarterback in Middle Tennessee playing right now. 20 touchdowns to just 1 interception. Those are some insane numbers. He's got 1,300 yards passing. Kenny Minchie is the real deal, and Marcel Reed in that Big Red offense, they've kind of struggled the last couple weeks. Got it going a little bit last week. Really used that run game. It sounded like in the win over Brentwood Academy. I don't know if they have enough. I think Marcel Reed can do as much as he can to win this game. Pope John Paul won a close one last year. Kenny Minchie had a great game in that. I do think NBA can take advantage of this PJP defense. So they're giving up close to 30 points per game. It just so happens their offense is scoring a ton of points to offset that. I think this is going to be another great game. Can't wait to see what Kenny Minchie and Marcel Reed do on that stage. I got PJP winning 35-31.
Okay. We talk about the matchup at quarterback. Kenny Minchie versus Marcel Reed. They're both 2 of the top quarterbacks for the class of 2023, with Marcel being one of number 10 in the country for next year. Of course, he's going to Alabama like every other big recruit's going this weekend to see Ole Miss Alabama play. But there's a couple other matchups of interest. You got Ethan Robb, the running back at JP2 versus Red Hales, the running back there at NBA, and a couple of really good receivers. We talk a lot about Colin Cook, double-digit touchdown catches from Kenny Minchie, but Claiborne Richards is another one at NBA there that's kind of, I think, become maybe Marcel's top target there. So there's some interesting matchups. NBA looked very strong last week against a Brentwood Academy team that's struggling a little bit. They just got Jalen Jones back. That helped them last week, but they lost 21-0 to the Big Red. So NBA's, they've won a couple in a row. I think JP2 wins this game, though. I just think their offense is pretty dang good, and we don't even talk about the defensive players that have been so well with the Ware kid and some of those guys. I think JP2 wins this game 28-21 over the Big Red. Next game, Thursday night special. Mount Juliet 6-0 3-0 in 5-5A. At Station Camp, 5-0, 2-0.
Yeah, Station Camp, my big surprise so far this year. I think everybody's big surprise, really. Bison are 5-0. Brent Alexander's come in there, and he's done a heck of a job. They have their most wins since 2014, and a lot of that has to do with their defense. They're only giving up 8.8 points per game. They're doing everything you need to do to win games. They're winning close games. They're finding a way to win, which hasn't been what Station Camp has done in recent years. This is their biggest test, though. I mean, this Mount Juliet team, I think they're number 1 in 5A right now, and that's not for any reason at all. I mean, they're good. They're really good, but they've kind of struggled the last couple weeks. They only beat Wilson Central 14-7 last week, and they're probably their worst showing of the season offensively. Steven Swoner is having a great year for him. I think he rebounds from that Wilson Central game and has a really big one in this. I think Station Camp keeps it close early. Mount Juliet pulls away late for the 35-20 win.
I think you're close on that. A little bit too far out there. Mount Juliet 27-20. I think it's a great game, and Station Camp is much improved. But I think Mount Juliet is one of those favorites to get maybe to the semifinals and maybe see a Memphis Central in the semis maybe. So I think 27-20 Mount Juliet over Station Camp to remain undefeated. Christian Brothers 4-2, 0-2 in D2 AAA West Region. They go to Brentwood Academy 3-3. They're 0-1 in the league there. It's Dallin Hayden coming to Brentwood.
Yeah, Christian Brothers, I mean, they're 0-2 in region play. Had a 1-point loss to Briarcrest, and then they lost to a really, really good Ensworth team. So I think that, I mean, this is a big potential playoff game, or, winner gets in, loser maybe doesn't. Like you said, Dallin Hayden, can Brentwood Academy slow him down? Sounds like Brentwood Academy last week in the loss to NBA really struggled against the run. That doesn't bode well going into this matchup against what may be the best running back in the state. I think Dallin Hayden has a big game in this, maybe scores a touchdown late, and Christian Brothers wins it 24-20.
Ohio State commitment. Dallin Hayden's going to have a big game. Thomas McDaniel comes back to Middle Tennessee. Ron Crawford, his father-in-law, comes back to within about 2 miles of his old stomping grounds at Brentwood. He's going to be defensive coordinator at Christian Brothers. Of course, he's a longtime Brentwood High football coach, so I'm sure they'll see some old friends this weekend. But I think Christian Brothers is too much. I think Christian Brothers wins this game 31-21 in a game that I don't think this is panic mode yet for BA. I think they're still okay, but it's almost getting to the point where they're going to win some games. Next game, Springfield 5-1, 2-0 in 7-5A. At Henry County 3-3, 2-0.
Yeah, this is just a lot of great matchups that will determine maybe who wins the region this year. A lot of top seed games. Springfield's playing really well. Devin Crenshaw is playing great at quarterback for him. He's thrown for 8 touchdowns, run for 6. Henry County coming into this one kind of off of they won last week, but it was kind of a shocking. The score-wise, it was only 10-0 over South Gibson. The Patriots' offense in a lot of games this year has really struggled. That doesn't bode well against Springfield. Springfield's played really well defensively. I think they play really well defensively in this one. Crenshaw does just enough, and Springfield takes it 24-17.
I want to go back and correct myself on Brentwood Academy's record before I get any emails. Brentwood Academy's 3-3, 1-1 in region play. They had that forfeit win over St. Benedict due to COVID at St. Benedict. So I wanted to correct myself there on the show here. Springfield and Henry County, Dustin Wilson has done a great job at Springfield. I mean, they've gotten to so many different championship games in 4A. I think they went to a couple of those. Runner up there to Greenville and in Elizabethton. Has had a lot of success now in 5A. But man, this Henry County team is a different beast. They're at Henry County, where they'll have that noisemaker going crazy. That horn will go crazy. They're on the new turf. It's going to be a different environment there. And because of that, Henry County 42, Springfield 20. Folks, that's our first different opinion on that. So that could be one to put a star there. Columbia 4-2, 2-0 and 6-5A. They go to Page 6-0, 2-0. Would have said you're crazy if you told me that Columbia and Page would be playing for the district for the region lead there. But go ahead with it.
Yeah, Columbia's playing really well for Coach John Moore. It's as simple as that. They get that big win over Nolensville a couple weeks ago. They beat up on Mount Pleasant last week. They're playing really well. This is their biggest test, though. Can you stop Jake McNamara? The Colorado State commitment has been phenomenal this season. I think he's got like 13 touchdowns and close to 1,000 yards passing, something along that. Best way for Columbia to keep him off the field is to use that running game with Caden McCoy and Q Martin. They've been running the ball really well. I just think Jake McNamara is too much in this matchup, kind of like he was last year. Page kind of cruised in this game last year, winning 28-10. I think it's close there in the first half, but McNamara is too good. I think Page wins at 38-17.
Okay. Good try there. No, Page has got, they're so good at quarterback with McNamara. He's got 927 yards, 12 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Just was looking that up for a second ago. I think Columbia, they've had such a great success, and part of me wants to pick Columbia in this game because they've played so well. But man, I think Page, I think in that we go back to that media day when I think everyone was thinking that Nolensville was that team in that region to beat, and everyone was asking Page questions similar to like, hey, Page is kind of the team, that Nolensville is kind of the team to beat. I think Page has remembered that. I think Page is going to win this game 38-21 just to show people that, hey, they're still here. They're still, they're the team to beat now with Summit gone. Fayetteville 6-0, 3-0 and 5-1A at Cornersville, 5-1, 3-0 in league play. This will probably determine the league championship.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, they're both playing really well. Cornersville's got that one loss to Clay County. Fayetteville hasn't really been outside of the Upperman game. Tigers haven't really been tested much this year. They're kind of cruising. Both teams are winning in region play, both undefeated with 3 blowout wins in each game. I just think KJ Jackson, he hasn't really needed to play a ton in recent weeks. I think he's going to be a little bit too much for Cornersville. I know last year Fayetteville finally got the best of Cornersville, ended up taking the region from them. I just think KJ Jackson is a little bit too much in this one. I do think it's kind of a lower scoring game, but I think Fayetteville wins at 24-13.
KJ Jackson, from what I've seen, has not played the last 2 weeks. I haven't got anything yet, if that's just precautionary or if that's just not needed, or if he's nursing an injury. Need to get with Coach Morrison on that to figure out what's going on there. Just from the stats I've seen, I think they got the Johnson kid is doing pretty well. The Holdmeyer kid, the quarterback, he's had a really good season. I think this is a great game. I've talked to both coach. I've talked to an assistant at Cornersville and a head coach and said, man, this is a game I wish they could be played on a Thursday night. I would love to go down to the Cornersville, Fayetteville. I would go down to either school and watch this game. I think this is a great high school football game for a Friday night. It's just a little too far for me to get to on a Friday night with all my responsibilities and all that. So, I think Fayetteville wins this game 27-21 in what will be a great environment for 1A football. And then you've got next up Macon County 5-1, 2-0 in Region 4A. They go to Upperman, 5-1, 2-0. Great region game. This will go a long way in determining the region champion in 4A.
Yeah, I completely agree. Brady Brooks is going to have his hands full with this Upperman defense. So they've only given up double digits once this season in that loss to Fayetteville. Ty Duchess, Jackson Rollins in the Upperman backfield. They've been kind of doing it all for him this year. I just think this Upperman team is really good. Macon County's playing really well. They have that one loss to Trousdale, but Upperman's going to be a team to really keep an eye on, especially when we go into the postseason, especially with the way they're playing on defense. I think they're a little too much for Macon County in this one. I got the Bees winning 34-20.
Upperman, Adam Kane. I'm telling you, I've said this before. He will be one of the most sought after head coaches in the area if he's not already in the offseason. I know. What he has done at Upperman and what he's done at other stops. This is a team that's played really, really good right now. They have done well in 4A after being really good in 3A the last few years. Upperman wins this game. It's a tight one. It's a nail biter, 21-20 over Macon County. Smyrna, 4-1, 2-0 in 6A, almost where they played Riverdale really close last week. Had some trouble scoring. They're at Cane Ridge. Cane Ridge is 3-3, 3-0 in league play, and it's a big showdown there. Smyrna wins this game. I think they're in the driver's seat for that region title.
Yeah, Smyrna finally got the best of Cane Ridge last year, winning 27-24. And from what I remember, was a really good game. Cane Ridge got started late, obviously, but just a great game there. Cane Ridge's record is it's interesting because they've blown out their region opponents, just easy contests. But then they've also played teams like Pearl Cone and Father Ryan and CPA. They had a 10-0 lead on CPA after that first quarter. Just couldn't get the wins there. Lost all those games pretty big. Smyrna, like you said, played Riverdale really well. Landon Miller's playing great at quarterback for them. They got a ton of skill guys that can make a lot of plays. I think kind of along the lines of last year's game, this is going to be a really good game. I just think Smyrna is going to have a little too much in the end. I got the Bulldogs winning 24-20.
Close. Smyrna, like you said, they've done a great job. Matt Williams does a great job there. I think right now they are the top team in that league. I think Cane Ridge is still overcoming COVID-19 from 2020, where they couldn't, they didn't start to 5 or 6 games into the season. They didn't have access to the weight room until June of this year. That's when they could finally get in the weight room and lift. Mm-hmm. I think people were like having to pull weights out of the weight room to be able to do any lifting at all. I just think a lot of Metro teams are behind, and I think Cane Ridge, they're 3-3, but they're not what we're accustomed to seeing in Cane Ridge. They'll get there, I think, by postseason, but and they've made up a lot of ground. That loss to Father Ryan, I think 48-0 was a kind of a stunner. Not so much that they lost, but just that they didn't score. Mm-hmm. But I think Smyrna wins this game. I think Smyrna wins this game 24-14. I think it's a really good game there at Cane Ridge. Cane Ridge has got the athletes, so they can pull off an upset. With the good low kid they're playing and the running back they have, that could be an interesting game.
Yep.
Last game of the week, Fairview, 4-2, 3-0 in 6-3A. White House, 5-1, 3-0. This is a respect game for White House. There's been some chatter that people are kind of questioning why they're not ranked in the state, especially after beating Waverly, which is ranked. Can't disagree with them. I don't understand the thought process either. But, hey, this is their chance to prove that they belong in the rankings. Joe Spears.
Yeah, absolutely. They're taking on a Fairview team whose 2 losses are to Page, and then Ty Simpson's Westview team, who's only lost 1 game this year. So this, like you said, it's a big respect game. I do think White House has the pieces to get this sort of win. I don't know. Does Fairview have enough offensively to keep up with White House? Since I think they've scored like close to 50 points per game over the last 4 games. Raymond Blackburn is playing really well under center, kind of tossing it a little more than he used to, but he's doing a lot of it with his legs. We saw that at Nissan Stadium. The kid can just take the ball and take it to the house like it's nothing. I think this is going to end up being a great game. I think Blackburn's the difference in the end. I've got White House getting that respect. They're going to win it 34-28.
I marked that one, folks. I'm going to do so well, folks. I might just go to the beach next week. I can take a week off. I'll have my dog Titan make the picks for me when I'm up 2 games here. Fairview, Chris Hughes. We got exposed with some play couple weeks ago when they played Westview. He was not very happy with how they played. I think that's been addressed. I think they've had a whole week. They know, to me, the way you stop Whitehouse is you better put a spy on Raymond Blackburn because he can take off and run the football. He can throw the football. But I like this Fairview. I like this schedule they put together. They played Page. They lost to them week 1, big rivalry game. They've lost to Westview, who is one of the top teams in 2A. I like Fairview to win this game, 42-35. That'll give me a 2-game lead, and it'll be time to go to the beach for a week of relaxation.
All right, we'll see.
And hey, if you're in the lead, I might just give you a Friday off.
I see what you did there.
All right, folks. Again, you've been watching the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. I want to thank Farm Bureau Health Plans for all they do for helping us, supporting us with this show, with our sports awards, and we'll have some announcements in the near future about the sports awards for 2022. Thanks for watching us. We'll be back next week, week 8. Might have a little bit better tan when you're talking to me, when you see me on here, but we'll see you next week. And Joe, good luck to you this week.
Good luck, Tom.
We'll see y'all.